All right. A little bit of action here trying to get this live show up and running. Really sort of a test to see how long my battery goes for out here. No lead running out of the house or anything like that because I don't have any PowerPoints. But we're discussing about what to grow now, and particularly for the Victory Garden and for those who are ready to grow their crops now, and wherever you are in Australia, something to talk about and discuss about what to grow. Now, I'm here in the Northern Rivers area, which is about 50 kilometres south of the Queensland border, and we are classed as subtropical. It's really odd because if you go 200 kilometres south of here, anywhere up to here, it's pretty similar, like Coffs Harbour upwards, even like some parts of like Port Macquarie and stuff, it's fairly similar. And then, but you go another 50k south and you get over the border into Queensland in the Coolangatta area, and the temperature just changes again. It's just got that little bit of extra warmth, a few degrees in the winter. It could be 3 or 4 degrees in the day in the winter. And the reason is because the ocean currents actually come from different directions. Currents are coming out of the south here and finishing off the Cape Byron and spinning back around, and then the currents coming down, finishing at Coolangatta, come down off the Great Barrier Reef. So it does make a bit of a change. But now we're in spring, and spring has really kicked in. We've had our last super moon, so basically it means that spring is rolling on, and it's going to keep getting warmer each and every day. And here I'm able to start a little bit earlier than people in temperate areas. So what I've been growing and starting now, you guys could get started now and get on your way. Now, remember that when you're planting into the ground, the soil might still be cold, and so that can slow things up. So if you're in temperate areas and you're still getting quite cold nights and things, you're better off starting in pots, putting them out in the sun in the warm day, and not let them get too cold at night, so the roots get cold, because the ground is actually slower at warming up than the rest. So basically it can be 6 to 8 weeks before the land really warms up. And the best time to plant your fruit trees and things like that is when the land is starting getting really warm. And a lot of people like to plant their fruit trees actually at the end of the season, when the ground is really warm. So end of summer going into early autumn, so you don't get too much sunburn and things on your plants, but the ground's nice and warm and the roots can get established before that cold settles in. So just a first tip straight off the rack for you. And we're using some software today to comment with everyone here, and so we'll pull people across as they arrive. It's a bit of a sporadic thing. I've never really been known for doing live shows and letting people know in advance. Sorry for that, guys, but it's always very busy, and when I get free time and I think it's the right time to do it, yet we are on. So g'day, DJ, nice to see you there. And we got FR Worms. Hey there, Marty. So congratulations, guys, for coming in and visiting. Always lovely to have people here coming to visit the show. And I know it's can be nighttime in other places around the globe, and like in Australia here, so it's around about 2:11 p.m. and it's about a 24, 25, actually it might be about 25, 26 degree day today. So it's fairly warm, but I'm sitting in the shade here right in front of the Victory Garden. It's a bit hard to sort of show you guys because we're just on a little webcam, and I don't know if I can get it right. It's a bit tricky using the webcam. Everything's one. There it is. Look at that. It's not exactly like GoPro smooth footage, but there it is there. V for Victory Garden and what we're sort of growing on here. So it's really a bit of a question time, a Q&A for anything that you guys want to would like to ask me about what you're considering growing on, or what we can grow now, things like that. So what I'm really talking about here is getting your seedlings started, in a good compost mix if you've got it. If you've been lucky enough to be doing some worm farming, to use around about 10% of your worm castings in with your mixes to actually help with the plants to get a really good solid start. That's always a great thing to do. and to use a liquid tea even out of your worm farm on your seedlings at a very weak, so it looks like a weak tea that you would make at home, and that would generally work pretty well. Oxygenate it as best you can too. Shake it up, pour it up and down, things like that. It just gets into the root system much better and keeps all that biology and microbes alive. So yeah, if you've got any questions for me about what you want to grow, what you would like to grow now, then happy to answer them. Let me know in the comments box that I'm coming through. The sound's good. As I said, I'm just going on my battery here and no lead running off, and so we'll see how things roll out with the live show here. Someone put a comment in one of my videos about my eggplant, saying, oh, the eggplants won't grow in those grow bags because they're only about, I think they hold 12 to 13 litres, and certain types of varieties of eggplants grow really big. But when I was in the Philippines with my wife just recently, I noticed that they were growing a lot of eggplants in containers, and I asked her why, and she was thinking about it. She said, oh, probably because the chickens would get the hurt the plants sort of down low and things like that, so they got them in pots. So I noticed they were doing really quite well in just these soils that they would just make up around the place. They weren't going out and buying anything or whatever. They just used what they had around the place and put it into pots and grew these eggplants in them. And one place I went to, he had heaps of them. They were everywhere, and he had like a big fish farm as well. He had tilapia and stuff like that. It was really cool seeing how it was done. So I thought, yeah, the long ones, the long purple ones, why not give that a go? And so my eggplants are probably 3 weeks old now, and I recommend that if you like that type of food, get some eggplants in. Great one to do. And also get your tomatoes in. I always recommend cherry tomatoes. You can have a go at the other ones, but they just seem to have less problem with pests and disease and stuff like that. And the Tommy Toe is my favorite. And you got all these different colors. And you can get sort of medium size indeterminate tomatoes where you can harvest them pretty quick. And a special prize is the one that I like for that. All right, so we've got a question here. Let's fire away. Marty, have you used worm tea in your compost before? Currently, I'm using a plastic tote for composting and adding castings and microbes like a starter. Okay, FR Worms, let's answer this question. So, have you used worm tea in your compost before? Some people will use it to activate, but I've already got compost worms in my system. So, and what I'm doing is I'm actually, because I've got it on the ground, like it is a windrow, big pile. So what I'm doing is actually just allowing the native, whatever the microbes are that are in soil here, and the mycorrhizae and stuff that's in the soil here and things like that, to move through it, disturb it as less as possible once it's cured enough. So I'm just letting the rain get in. So it's actually really making its own sort of worm tea in a way inside every time it's raining and getting drenched down. So I don't put that into the compost, but I don't even I don't do that blended tea mix in the tea bags or anything anymore. I just use what's coming out of the worm farm that's not a leachate. It's the liquid that I pour through, and it drains through quickly. I grab that and just shake it around, oxygenate a bit, and put it on plants. That's pretty much what I'm doing. I very sort of cut back on that type of stuff. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question. But it says here, I'm using a plastic tote for composting and adding castings to add microbes like a starter. I think if you're using a plastic tote like that, I think that's a good idea to actually just get the a few handfuls of the worm cast from your worm farms and put it into the small composting systems. And I used to do that when I first got started because I'm keeping biology alive all the time. So when I first start, I like to actually take material from worm farms and put it into new piles along with the worms, and let it sort of expand out, and then I just start feeding the system. I've got a video coming out probably tomorrow or the next day, sort of about how I feed my compost. So yeah, keep an eye out on that, because my compost systems are basically just giant big worm farms now. And that's sort of how they work. And thanks for letting me know that my audio is coming in fine. We've got currently 10 people watching, and that's not too bad for a sporadic live show. I've got some water with me. It's about 25, 26 degrees outside. Hopefully the wind doesn't come through and mess up the microphone. We're doing it very simply today outside here. So for some reason things turn to havoc. We'll have to run and leave. Anyway, we're here to answer your questions today about what to grow now and what you would like to grow now. Here's my dad, Arthur Thomas Ware. If you see a very big brown worm in with a lens, best not to put it in the compost, Mart. Oh, we're in with their hands. No, we just feed it. The girls get their free feed. Actually, I get in there and turn over every few days because I'm pulling compost out of there now and feeding the pile, which is going to be coming up in the next video. And there was a whole lot of worms in there. They got a bit of a feed and got into it. So anyway, hopefully the wind doesn't come through and hit the microphone and things like that, and we can keep rolling with this this video. And if we get any people asking any questions about what to grow now, then beautiful, we can do that. So I've got some other content coming out about 2 plants that I believe are really good survival crops for the summer. I won't release what they are because I don't want to spoil the momentum on it. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, I've definitely got 2 really good crops that you can harvest from daily, and you can grow them right now until sort of the end of autumn, pretty much anywhere in Australia. Now you might hear some noise coming past. I've got some buses coming past for the school and the odd truck, and the road is a mess. There's dust going everywhere at the moment, all over my car and stuff. And the council here terrible at fixing the roads. Anyway, look, someone's got to have a question for sure. Anything that you want to ask me related to gardening or worm farming or composting, fire away. I'll just have a quick drink of water and we'll talk a bit more about. Now, please don't be afraid about what question. No question is regarded as stupid or silly or anything like that. Everyone's at different stages. So some other plants that I think are really good to get going now is the companions with your tomatoes, so all your basil varieties. Basically, most people grow the sweet basil, which is called the Genovese. There's lots of different hybrids and different ones of that now, and they seem to grow the best and the easiest. And they grow really good with tomatoes, give those tomatoes a good flavour. And underneath, down below, you can put some parsley where it sort of shades a bit, and that's a 3-way combination. And that's another great one to plant now. Cucumbers, also really good one to plant to get going now. If you get a lot of high humidity, like we do later on, it can be susceptible to sooty mold. Excuse me, water burp. Sooty mold, and then the plants can get a bit sort of damaged and stuff, and we pull it out and wait until the humidity goes down. But I just keep growing them until that problem happens, and then I finish up. But certain places you've got drier climates and different plants, and I like to grow the dwarf ones first, the ones you get in pots, and then now I've got sprouted, they're called Market More, which I got the seed from Aussie Gardener, and which there's lots of links in the description, so you can get well, the last video, not today's description, but the last video, that you can get all the discounts and everything through Aussie Gardener. And so yeah, I like to then grow the long vining ones next, because as it gets more humid, you need more airflow around the vines. So we're pruning the vines to allow more airflow and get them up as high as possible, so they can produce until it gets too humid and maybe possibly the sooty mold kicks in. All right, so we'll see if there's any more questions here. We'll fire away. G'day, Marty. What breed of chickens do you have? They're called Highline, actually, and they look like an Isa Brown. I thought they were Isa Browns when I went to buy them. He said, no, they're a Highline. I believe they're an American breed. And the guy that I get them from, they're really up on the different breeds and things. We used to have a whole range of chickens, different breeds, but now I really like this Highline. They're easy to take care of. You get them young enough, you can train them up. They'll just follow you around. They're easy to pick up. They're very placid. They're not too aggressive to try and get out all the time, even though they do, like all chickens want to try and escape. But yeah, great egg layers, big eggs. Really happy with them. And if you saw in the videos, just how healthy and beautiful they look. And probably in a little while, I'll let them out. After this, we'll let them out for a little bit of a walk, do a little bit of free ranging. But yeah, Highline Chicken, Hyline at the type. All right, let's keep firing away. We've got more people coming in here with questions. Lisa, I have failed twice growing raspberries and recently purchased another raspberry. What plant can I do to be successful this time? Raspberries, I haven't grown them a lot. It's not what you want to hear from me. So I tried to grow a raspberry up in the area where I've got my permaculture sort of space that runs up along the fence, my food forest down below, and Karen pulled it out. She goes, "Look at this weed I've got, Dad." And I'm going, "Oh, that's not a weed, darling." But she was doing such a good job, I didn't want to say anything, but I just let it go and just said, "Oh, well, there goes the raspberry." So I had to fail too. But, look at all different types of berries and just plant different types of berries until you get some success on which ones perform the best for you. So, yeah, Pete, sorry I can't help you a bit more with that. My dad again, courtesy. Mart's got the sort of chicken that eats brown snakes. Pretty tough birds, eh? I don't know if they did a brown snake. They did a little one. But yeah, the kookaburras do. That's for sure. And we've got some new kookaburras just moved in. When we come away from holidays, the magpies were gone. We had a family of magpies here that were really good, really friendly with us. They used to go in the bird baths, and we'd give them a little bit of mince every now and again, and we'd come back, and I think someone's trapped them. So they went around. There's some new magpies that have moved in. They're letting their dominance be known, but they haven't come onto the ground and follow us around or anything. The other one used to follow me around when I was gardening and get food and stuff. So yeah, that's a bit sad that happened. But anyway, that's life. Hopefully, this new family we can make friends with them. But the kookaburras, yep, no problem. They will get a snake here and there. So let me know what you're growing now in the comments box, or what you plan to grow, or what you would like any information on about what to grow. As I said, I've got I think strawberries, we've got eggplants, we've got mint, we've got spearmint in, all the herbs. So like the oreganos, which are perennials, and those type of things. Parsley we can grow all year round here, but certain places where it's cold, frost is finished now, you can get your parsley started because you can use that a lot. It's really great, just chopped up, just in garlic and olive oil and salt and pepper. Makes a really nice food, just in cooked, and then just put through some pasta. Really simple meals like that. Eggplants, snake beans. You can grow blue lake beans. I'm not doing them at the moment. If you're in a cooler zone, you'd probably do some snow peas now as well. It's getting a little bit hot for those here, but yeah, that's what I'm growing. And I'm just looking behind me at the Victory Garden as well. We've got some all year lettuce that came from Aussie Gardener as well. Aussie Gardener seed, really good stuff. What else have we got? We've got some capsicum in a grow bag. Looking back here, and sweet potato in a pot. Now we've got lots of other things growing all around the garden. That's just what's in the Victory Garden. So behind us, we've got dragon fruit. We've got passion fruits growing. Got macadamias up the back, lemon myrtles, mulberry trees, mandarin trees, lemon trees, lime trees. Many bananas. Lots and lots of things are happening here, and it's really turning into a quick little food forest. But we're blessed when you live in a subtropical region, if you can build out your area to create its own mini ecosystem like I have. Over time it just improves and becomes more productive. So we've got another question here. Lisa just said thank you. You're very welcome, Lisa. And Zachary Turpin, hopefully I've got that right, Zachary, the name, the pronunciation, says, "Hi Marty, going to try and grow garlic in sequence. Have you grown them before? Any tips for my climate?" Garlic. Oh wow, I'm getting hit up with these ones, and I've got to be honest, I haven't grown garlic before. We're looking at it. I was told that we started here in October, I believe. But again, if I had my Aussie garden chart with me, I would be able to look on that. Sorry, I'm gonna have to, next time I do these grow things, I'm gonna have to put that chart with me. But you know, garlic is a very simple plant to grow. You just need to get it into season. There's heaps of stuff on YouTube about growing it, and a lot of it showed just start in water. You don't really have to do that. That's just for the visual aspect of the YouTube sort of stuff. But you know, from what I've learned from people who've told me about growing garlic, it's really important to get a good, the tuber, the bulb, a really good quality one, and decide what type you want to grow, like giant red Russians or that type of thing, and then make sure you plan accordingly for that time. I'm just growing now at the moment, so in the onion family, just spring onions in the foam box, and then next later on down the line, so we've got ginger in some pots, we've got turmeric ready to go, and they're going to go underneath in the food forest area underneath, because they can grow in the shade. But garlic, yeah, you really need to decide how you're going to do it. Whether you know, we don't know, if we haven't spoken whether you're talking about growing it in containers or in the ground. If you're growing it in the ground, you only need to till good couple of inches. If you've got nice friable soil underneath, use a really good quality compost. Doesn't need a heap of nitrogen, because it's, you know, those tubers generally don't. And just, yeah, and just wait until the spike part starts dying off, and then go in there and grab it. But just do your research. Sorry, I can't be a bit more helpful with that. Hopefully, um, I've got some information there for you about growing garlic from what I've learned over the years from listening to other people that have been successful with it. I know that I've got a group called Small Space Gardening Australia, and the lady in there that runs it, she is very good at growing garlic. And so, yeah, if you're in Facebook, go and join Small Space Veggie Gardening Australia, and ask her, fire away in there, and you'll get some good help in there. That's one of my Facebook groups. I don't run it. I do put some content in there, but it's run by a great amount of people. Um, DC, I have a feijoa in a very large pot, just in flower now. Not my favorite. It tastes like perfume. Yeah, that's not something. People are coming up with some stuff that, you know, I thought I had everything. I don't have a feijoa. Um, and I can't really remember really tasting it, to be honest. But thanks for sharing that. I'm sure there's other people maybe that want to share if they've eaten feijoa before, and what does it taste like to you. And that's interesting. Question from Yusuf. So yeah, if you got a question, just put a Q there. That always helps me. Hey Marty, you ever tried beer trap with slugs? Does it work? 100% works great. I learned it just by pure coincidence when I was a kid and I was gardening, and we had slugs and snails around, and I used to always, there's guys next door that used to play cards. I'd collect their aluminium cans so I could sell them. That was the days when we could crush the can and take them and sell the aluminium for weight. And yeah, and if I didn't crush the can, I would find slugs and snails inside them sometimes. And I was like, oh, wow, that's a really good trap. So yeah, it was just out of pure coincidence that I stumbled across that. And I have used that before. I know Aussie Gardener have got a snail trap, a natural slug and snail trap, and that's probably all they're using is something that ferments, some sort of fermented sugar. So yeah, they work great. Just put a couple of rocks in them too, so they don't blow away in the wind. And make sure, and you know, like the good thing about that type of trap is once they get in and they drown in there in the little bit of beer, things like birds and stuff like that, there's no poison in there. So anything else that eats it, if for some reason it gets out or whatever, it's not going to harm and kill them or make them sick. So I'm not a big fan of the other systems that yeah, for baits and stuff like that. Even the organic baits is still using a poison. There's some type of stink bug on the table. Let's get him off. So yeah, I stay away from poisons pretty much as much as I can. I never used any, even an organic poison down the other garden. And here we've been here a couple of years yet, and we haven't had to either. Haven't had to have any slug and snail traps, but we do have slugs here. And just when I do find them, I just throw them to the chickens. So hopefully that helped, Yusuf. Yes, they do work. They work absolutely brilliant. Got another question by FR Worms. This year I grew pumpkins from a big dirt pile. They didn't work out too well, but the gourds did great. Thanks for sharing, mate. Look, I think we all go through that. You know, I've had years where my pumpkins haven't done that great. Last year they did fantastic. So we're growing the same variety again, the Kents, and but this time in the front yard because they took over the backyard last season, and we don't want that to happen. And we lost probably about a third of our crop near the end because some rats were starting to come and eating. They love the pumpkin seeds, so they chew all the way through to get the seed, and then it's just yeah. So yeah, you know, I wouldn't worry about that too much. You know, we all have success and failures, that's for sure. Here we go. Thanks, mate. You're very, very welcome. So we're here talking about what to grow now, what you can grow on in the future, and what are you planting now. I'm really here to sort of help people so they can make informative choices, get the right plants into the ground, no matter where you are in Australia, or even maybe you're like in the fall. If I can help with anything along those lines to get you started, then let's do it. Let's get you rolling, and yeah, we can answer some of your questions. Now, someone said here for Angela said for slugs, I use dried yeast dissolved in water, and that works really well. Can't waste a beer. Yeah, the dried yeast. Yeah, I've heard that works really great. Thanks for sharing that. It's one thing I love about communities is people can share all this knowledge, and we put it all together, and you know we get some really great answers. Um, And here we got someone else. Indy. Hey, Marty, I'm a bit late, but at least I caught some. Hey, no problem. Look, it was just a sporadic live show just to see and catch up with some people, answer some questions, help some people, and get some information out there for what we're sort of growing now and what people want to grow now. And some gardening questions, answering those, and helping people because at the moment it's probably some of the toughest times many are going through. There's like 1 million people in Australia, this is from St Vincent de Paul, this is from me, that are skipping meals. So they're only eating 2 meals a day. They have their third meal, their children are eating it, and children saying back to their parents, oh, when are you going to eat? And they say, we'll eat later, and they don't. So, no, I've never heard of that really happening too much in Australia, really, not like this. So I figure it's, you know, it's really time to sort of pull the big guns out and help as many people as possible to grow as much fresh food at home. And that's why we've got the next video coming out very soon, the next day or two, about 2 crops that you can harvest from every day. And they're really sort of survival food that we can grow. And then at the end of the video, the number 3, there's a bit of a surprise bonus one there that people can choose if they want to sort of move forward. So anyway, let us know, what are you putting in the ground now? The community, I'm sure, would love to hear what you're starting to grow, what you're considering growing, or what you would like to grow, and maybe you've got some questions about it. No question is regarded as stupid here. Look, we're all at different levels, from beginner to intermediate to advanced, and there's all types of people from around the globe and Australia that watch my show. And collectively in the comments below the videos, there is sometimes better content there than what I've made for the video. Some of the comments are absolutely sensational. Some of the things that people share in there, their knowledge, it is fantastic. So I always recommend that you go through the comments of my videos and have a really good look at them. You'd be surprised at what you will read sometimes. Hey, Dad's Amazing Adventures. He does have amazing adventures, and occasionally I watch the show, mate. And God bless to you, brother. I always love hearing from you. Hope you and the family are well. We're really good, really great. After we had the storm here, we've cleaned up, and everything's really good now. And yeah, we're having a good old time. And just hoping we're going to have a good season and not too many big storms. It's just like during the old Depression days, eh? It's very tough. I think it's going to get tougher for a while, my friend. You know, that's just, I don't know, I'm not an economist or anything like that. The government's saying that inflation's under control, but I think, you know, it's going to take ages for our wages and living and the cost of living to come down if electricity and things keep going up. And, you know, like, who knows, if petrol skyrockets again because of what's going on around the place, we could be in some real trouble. So I'm just trying to do my best to help as many people as I can. And that's why I'm creating these more videos and getting more sort of out here, getting the content out there, and people are getting a lot of good value out of it. Oh, look at this. Indy, $10. Enjoy a coffee or tea on me. That is so kind of you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Indy. There used to be another software where I could let the horns go off and the balloons and things like that. I don't have that, so we go firecrackers. We'll just make the artificial ones. Thank you so much. It's really, really kind of you, and I appreciate it. It's really great. And so we've got here, Marty, consider getting a grow free cart for the front of your property. We have them here in WA. Although scarce, it's becoming more popular. Ask others to grow to contribute to the cart. Oh, we don't have anyone else growing in the street. They all come here and grab cuttings and food and stuff. I live in a bit of a sort of an area where there's some people that are pretty poor. And so, yeah, I'm always giving them a bit of food and stuff. They just come and knock on the door or ask me. Yeah, and we sell the compost and give stuff away. So there's different licensing around having carts and things like that. But great idea. Thank you so much for sharing. And we do give a lot of food away here, actually. I grow in abundance. So what have we got? A Nero will never forget. We grow and have abundance. Please share with your neighbours. That's good. And we do share. There was a lady here this morning just grabbing some more cuttings and saying, oh, we're so lucky to have you in the street. And we sell our eggs as well. But, like things cost. It's not free for me. I'm not rich either. So it's not free for me to do all this. So occasionally people give me small donations and things like that. So, and like Indy did here. So wonderful. Thank you very much. And we do follow the philosophy of love thy neighbour. Very important, I believe. And money comes sort of second, really. Anyway, cheers to that. Thank you very much. And yeah, if you want to get it as a chart, in the video that I brought out this morning, and it's got all the, I should have it off, it's on the fridge at the moment. It's just got a chart of all the different growing plants that you can grow in edibles around Australia, color-coded, things like that, by Aussie Gardener. And there's a link in the description for the last video to get hold of that. And we can keep going forward. And keep moving forward. And thanks so much for sharing this. I think it's really important if people can do that and have the time to do all that. I don't, to be honest, and people don't like it when I say things like that, but we full on sun hits the front there and it'll just cook everything and stuff. So people just come around and we just give it out and stuff like that. But that works for us. All right, so we've got 19 people watching. The school bus is going past at the moment. You can hear the noise, and it consistently, there's dust going off the road because the council haven't fixed it. It's just a nightmare here, and I'm always get a bit paranoid because I'm out the front here. But things are going great, and we're pretty happy. Just come down and just give them a bit of a spray, hose it off, get the dust off stuff. The garden likes Dad. There's a great little community pantry that popped up around the corner from us. I always have a glut of something, even if it's just an edible weed to you. Could be dinner for someone else. That's true. And I think that, like what we're talking about is the cost of living things. If people can do that and support people much more, then that's absolutely brilliant thing to do. We've decided to we sell some of our products from here because what I do here at Marty's Garden is a business as well. And so we've decided that we can sell a lot of our stuff at around about half the price of coming out of Woolies, the stuff that we don't give away to people that can't afford it. And that helps us cover costs and keeps me being able to work here and produce content and things like that. And people buy stuff from Aussie Gardener, and I get a little affiliate commission and things. So I know people hate it when you talk about making money on YouTube, but this is reality. If you're not doing it, you can't earn and all that stuff. And so that's sort of the way it goes. But I think it's absolutely brilliant if people can do that. The United Church every Thursday afternoon or Thursday morning here, they have like a really super cheap food stuff, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And they're virtually giving it away, and we support them as well. We buy a lot of stuff there, like on Saturdays and things like that. Thrifty stuff, our clothes and different things to support them to keep that going. So I think anyone that works on their community stuff and gets involved and things like that, it just, there's so many good things out of it other than just the monetary side of it, right? Anyway, let's get back to what are we growing now? What are you growing now? What do you want to grow now? What are the problems you've got with your growing now? And you can also let me know what type of climate you're in. And some people are in, like, in parts of Melbourne, but they got microclimates where the sun's really traps in. They'd be high up and they can grow things like avocados and stuff like that. Excuse me. So it's a real blessing for things like that. Let's pull up the next comment. If you're providing a service, you deserve something in equal value. I totally agree, James. You do. Otherwise, sometimes it's got to be a little bit of give and take. Love it. Can't make the content as much as you do without supporting it financially. That's right. I'm here full time doing this, but I've got my daughter. I raised her on my own. And that's one reason why Marty's Garden was always around, and we always had these little businesses running out of Marty's Garden, such as selling microgreens to the restaurants and selling food to the restaurants, selling food to the locals. Now we make it compost and sell the locals, sell a few plants and a little bit of produce, give a bit away as well to those who can't afford it, and produce this content and do everything. Now my daughter's home full time now. She's disabled, so I take care of her, and yeah, so I'm able to work from home, which is absolutely brilliant. She has a hearing loss, and there's a few other things going on that we can't really talk about on the channel. But yeah, it keeps me home and it keeps me looking after my daughter, and Shirley, my wife's absolutely brilliant. So I'm just blessed with a beautiful family here. All right, so let's talk about fruit trees. So a lot of people that have been growing their fruit trees on, or they're going to be planting them, you would notice that the leaves go yellow through the winter. And what happens is they freak out, right? And so it's like, and I remember it happened to me the first time I was growing fruit trees too. So what happens is when the ground gets cold, the earth's cold, it can't uptake the iron and the minerals and things like that it needs to feed the plant. So it starts getting this thing called skeletosis, where you start seeing some yellowing veins going a bit yellow because it's not pulling up the nitrogen, it's not pulling up the iron and different minerals and things to feed the plant. So once the ground warms up, so what you want to do is you don't go in and just overdose it with nutrients, thinking, and then nothing's happening, because the plant can't uptake it until the ground gets warm. So you just need to keep a good compost on there, good mulch on there, and just give it a little bit of a liquid feed. And then you'll notice over time, as the weather warms up, the leaves will get nice and green. And if you're going to plant them right now, if you're in temperate area, I wouldn't recommend it. Even the ground probably even a little bit cold here where I am in the subtropical area. I would wait another month before I start planting them out. But growing them in pots, no problem. Nice sunny spot. Get the pot warmed up through the day. Even I've got my pot sitting on through the winter on a concrete slab. So that warms up through the day and then releases the warmth back through the pot in the night. And then sort of doing that. So hopefully that's a good little tip for you for about what we're talking about, what we're growing now and growing on. So what are you growing now? What climate are you in? Are you considering planting? Are you doing a container garden? Are you growing in the ground? Are you looking at no dig stuff? Are you looking at setting up compost systems? Are you getting ready for spring? Because look, it's in the air. We had our last big moon, which really means that spring's kicking in now. And the calendar runs a bit different from gardening. Don't want to get too deep into that, but yeah, so the days are getting, once the days start getting longer, we know that we're really into what's going on here, and it's going to get warmer and warmer every week. So love to hear what you would like to grow, any questions that you'd like to grow things. One of the plants that I've spoke about in the last video was the spring onions, growing the spring onions in foam boxes and things like that. So what I'll do is I'll grab some of the foam boxes now and just hold on, because they're right behind me, right behind my garden here. So we're going to go get them. And I'll be back. Just stay right there. I've got three different foam boxes here, and I'll just sit down so you can hear me because I'm a bit far away from the microphone. Now, this is what I believe to be one of the cheapest ways if we're not worried about growing in foam too much. And these foam boxes are just getting thrown out at the back of IGA, and they've got plenty of holes in the bottom, so really good for drainage, and nice depth and plenty of width. So the width is really good for growing a lot of food, especially things like spring onions, bok choy, lettuce, leafy greens, stuff like that that don't need huge root systems. You can grow nice deep foam boxes. You can grow determinate tomatoes in them that only grow to a couple of feet, no problem. So smaller plants and things like that, fast growing edibles, strawberries, all that type of stuff. I've got a nice big, the Victory Garden behind me, the Cost of Living Victory Garden, which you should be able to see if I go this way. We go. You can see the foam boxes to the left there, down there. We've got some really good stuff growing on in those, but I show them in the videos, in the content. It's a bit hard doing that while we've got this live show going, unless we can have live cameras sort of connected up with the whole thing. And look, thank you, Indy, again for giving me the super chat. Really nice of you. Really much appreciated. And I'm going to show you another foam box here. Now this one has no holes in the bottom, and this is really good for if you're doing like semi-aquatic plants like kangkong. You're going to be growing anything that needs a lot of water, or you're just getting your pot started. You can fill it up with some liquid, put your pots in there, and you can also use them as little hot box as well, and turn them on the side like that and grow the plants in it like that, and let the sun beam straight in there, and it will create a little hot box, like a little mini greenhouse, because white reflects a lot of the light, and it won't get too hot to burn the plants, but you just face it towards the sun, keep an eye on them so you don't cook them, and man, that works really great. So it works two ways. You can use them as worm farms as well, but yeah, put your pot plants in them, put your liquid in below so it comes up, or turn them and use them as a little mini greenhouse sort of thing. So very versatile. They come in all different shapes and sizes, and then just make sure you dispose of them properly, because we want to not be using, we're really stopping these from going into landfill, and we use them as much as we can. As soon as we feel like they're going to start breaking down, get them into the bin and get them out and get them disposed of responsibly is the word. I'm in subtropics. Queensland's growing in my backyard. It sure is, James. Beautiful up there, I'm sure, this time of year. It's going to start getting hot though, mate. FR Worms. I live in Montana, so I can't do much with gardening during the winter. So winter is my time to shine when it comes to worms. Awesome stuff, mate. Get up the breeding. I guess I'm sure you've got a great system going on there. And thanks so much for sharing. James Lynn, I saw your video about spring onions earlier today, actually. I was giving them a go tonight when it's less hot. Yeah, so what I found with them is I bought some of the little tiny seedlings, and I found that they were so like fiddly to sort of plant it again, and then watering them again, they were always falling down. But I got some seed, and I put seed in around that same time. Now, the seed took about 4 or 5 days to come up. But when it came up, it was growing really quick, and now they're about 2 inches high, and there's like 100 plants in that one foam box. And when they get bigger, they're easier to transplant because they transplant really super simple. So I can then move them out and spread them out. And they actually bunch as well. So you can grab them and cut them, and they'll keep growing on and stuff, and they'll throw out more suckers down below and keep bunching up. So in theory, once you've got them, you should never have to buy them again. And they will grow okay in a bit of heat. James, once they get a bit of height and a bit of age into them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really never want to buy spring onions again. I find that sometimes at the shop they're not very good. I only got to get them from Woolies or supermarkets. Some of the veggies shops have them here, but I grow all my own veg, so I don't really have to worry about going to veggies. We just go down to the butcher to get our stuff. And if I've got to go there to just get some of those spring onions, I don't want to walk into Woolies. There's too much temptation there. They're so good at getting your making you buy more things. So we're saving money by not walking into Woolies as much and paying those extravagant prices as well. I'm growing tomatoes. This is Lisa. I'm growing tomatoes, asparagus, strawberries, and chilies in wicking beds in Adelaide. Oh, congratulations. I wish that I had some asparagus, and I think I'll consider growing it because I love that idea of being a perennial, and that, you know, it takes a couple of years, obviously. How long have you had them in for? I think you're sort of not supposed to pick the first head for the first year or two, I believe, and then let them build out some energy, and then you can pick every year after that for, I think, 15 or 18 years they last for. So brilliant. Tomatoes, I'd love to know what type of tomatoes you got going. Are they ever bearing strawberries? And wicking beds, great idea to save water, save money, and less stress on the plants. And you can connect little underground worm farms into wicking beds as well. Work brilliant. Banana H, g'day Marty. G'day, nice to see you there. Why do they sell them as seedlings all bunched up? Don't buy carrot seedlings either. No, carrot seedlings are just susceptible to all the different pests getting in when you do it. Straight from seed is the go. I don't know why they sell them all bunched up. There's just, everyone's been doing that with spring onions for years. I guess they put the elastic band on them. The last ones we bought, we put them in water, and I put them in the pots in the foam boxes. But we're doing that for now and then we get a few cuts off them, which is great. But until we start growing our own spring onions, and then hopefully, if all goes well, I don't want to say that I'm going to be always super self-sufficient of them, but that's the plan, is to be growing our own spring onions, the bunching variety. We've still got some seed left, so we'll probably do some more as well. And look, probably have a few hundred going at one time if we can. I'd love to say that and pull that off for sure. Now, another plant that you can grow, but people don't realize, the papaya will grow in the temperate climate, and you can eat green papaya. Right? It's a green papaya salad. I don't like the yellow papaya. It's got that bit of a funky smell. The red papaya is the one I like. I grow tri-dwarfs. They're sort of behind me here. I don't know if we can see them. No, we can't. That's the dragon fruit there. There's a papaya just there, and we use it mostly for using as a vegetable. So the green papaya is a vegetable, and I really, really like it. Cooking it in curries and different things like that. Same with the choco. We've got some chocos getting ready to vine up. We use that as same, basically a green papaya, similar to a choco. And had a crack at making some papaya salad. Did an okay job at it. Probably have another crack this year as well. So thank you so much for sharing that, Banana H. Love to know what you're growing at the moment, what you're considering growing, what you want to grow, maybe something you're growing you're having problems with. I don't have answers to all the questions, but I'll do my very best to help you. We're sharing in the community here, so other people can watch and read in the comments and learn and everything from others and consider what they're growing as well. So my favorite ones at the moment are eggplants, cherry tomatoes. We've got to get some lemongrass in at some stage. I've got chocos going in because I know that they grow really well here, and they are a perennial, and they'll grow as a perennial in temperate areas as well, as long as you've got a nice big fence or something to put them on. Great sustainable food, so you only have to plant once for many years and get lots and lots of food. And I think that's what we need to really start looking at more now, is looking at food that we can grow on and on, such as like the papaya, choco, different things like that, fruit trees and stuff that produce food over and over to save our time as well. All right, so we maybe have some more questions here. Here we go. This is a good one. I'm the same. I don't like yellow pawpaw. Never tried the green one. So you pick it just before it would go ripe, and you eat it as a vegetable, basically. And they don't have a lot of flavor, so you flavor it up like you would a choco, something like that. But super good for you. Papain is one of the main ingredients in there. It's not an electrolyte. I'm not sure what papain is, but it's just it's a microbe that's in your stomach or something. It's in the papaya. So really great food to eat And the red ones have, you know, the high vitamin A as well, which is really good for cleansing the liver and stuff like that. But you know, all those foods, we eat our fresh foods. It's just great stuff. But yeah, people never consider growing the pawpaw south more, and using it as a vegetable, because you once you've got it in the ground, it'll grow for years. And you just, once it gets too high, you stump it, cover it over with a can, the stalk, let new shoots grow, and then you've got more again. So yeah, it's something to consider alongside if you're growing chocos as well, which we are. We've got 2 vines going this season. One growing in the area where we've got the permaculture zone to the food forest, that'll be growing over and spilling over the trees and things. And another, I'm actually growing up a trellis out of the bale garden. And that is very interesting, because that's really doing really quite well, and about to just about hit the trellis. Can use the sap for tenderizing meat. Yeah, I've heard that as well. And the beautiful thing that we don't learn here a lot in the West about papaya, it's a great plant. They use it for people that have got the mosquito, not the dengue virus, I think. And also they use it as, I've been using it as a chicken feed. I learnt from Southeast Asians about chopping the papaya leaf up and using to fatten up chickens, and also to deworm them. So yeah, I'm growing more papaya, even just for the leaves as well, to add to my chicken feed, which I'm making a chicken feed of sweet potato leaf and papaya leaf, and chopping it all up together and giving it extra with their food to cut down costs and to give them a really good plant. So yeah, the papaya is an awesome plant. I'm sure it's got many more. I think they used to make paper out of it years ago too. If you look back in ancient Egypt and stuff, they made all their paper out of papaya and things. So there's a lot more that we can do with it than we know. We just forgotten about it so much in the West. But you can use the sap for tenderizing meat. Thank you so much for sharing that. So we're talking about what we're growing now, what we can grow now. You got any gardening questions at all? Any composting questions, worm farming questions? Happy to answer them. And where people are sharing also what they're growing now, what area they're in, so other people can follow along and get an idea about what space they're growing in, how they're growing, things like that, and maybe copy and implement along those lines. So that's why I thought we get this live show going and discuss about that subject. And so I've got a show coming out tomorrow. The next few days, we're looking at some other crops and things, and some survival crops and stuff like that. And so people can grow more food at home. Very important times at the moment. People are struggling. And, you know, if you can give away a bit of fresh food to people, or, you know, you're growing a bit extra and you need a little bit extra money as well because you're struggling, you can always sell a little bit more cheaper to help them at the same time, and you're helping yourself at the same time. And, you know, do those type of things to get ahead and stay on top of things. So I'd love to hear what you've got to say here. Remember, there's no question that's regarded as stupid. Everything's fine. We're all at different levels here, and happy to help. And a lot of the time, the people in the chat can help as well, which is really cool. James Lynn, I'm lucky here with cherry tomato that's self-seed in my garden every spring, so I don't have to plant tomato ever. Yeah, I know what you mean. We got plenty of them here too. I have no idea what it is and where it came from. I know what you mean. We've had nearly all my tomatoes this season have been self-sowed ones, and we had tigerellas come up, yellow cherry tomatoes, just like a yellow pear-shaped cherry tomato. The Tommy Toes, I always recognise those, and then the little tiny Tims as well. I was surprised when the tigerella reshooted, because that's just a green tomato, goes and it has like a white stripe on it. It's a green tigerella, very nice tomato. It's just hard to know when it's ripe. So yeah, pretty much here as well, and it's really exciting when you see things doing that. Our snake beans sprouted again right at the end of winter on a few warm days, and I just babied them up. Now they're growing right up the trellises, so they started nice and early. So I'm really happy about that. It's just brilliant when you see those things are happening. And Autismo Gamer, love how easy potatoes are to grow. Yeah, well, I'm doing some late ones in pots. It said on the type of potato that I could start them in October. Don't know about that, but we'll see. love growing potatoes, and my favourite is the sweet potato at the moment. And we're growing a ton of those around a big compost area that out of hay bales, and we're about to set another one up. So yeah, love the potatoes, great stuff. Banana H, here we go. I had that problem too, James, when I lived in the Gold Coast hinterland. I found if you don't select for the sweet ones, they end up mostly bitter. I think it's to do with the pest. I think I've missed something there in there, and they're talking to each other in there. If you've got a question, just put a Q in front so I know that it's a question, because sometimes we get busy in here and people start chatting and stuff and I miss things. So yeah, you got a question, put a Q in front of it and we'll go from there. India. In Melbourne, using containers, growing tomatoes, peas, beans, cucumbers, lettuce, spring onions, apples, basils, and lots of roses. Wonderful. You know, roses are edible. I'm pretty sure the roses, the petals, are edible. I haven't eaten them. I've tried them, but yeah, that's just brilliant. And I think that people who are starting off at the beginning really should start in containers. I think that's the best way to go. And then once you sort of get comfortable with it, move out into the ground, maybe doing some no-dig systems or some bale guarding, some raised beds, things like that. But just expand out slowly. Start off with container gardening, see if you like it, and then sort of go from there. The cherry tomatoes go wild. They really do. My wife's been out picking them up, all the ones that have gone wild around here, and she hustles me, going, "Oh, we've got tomatoes." I'm like, "Oh, no, there's none on the vertical one." She's like, "Yeah," and she brings in this big bowl because she's found all the wild ones that have moved through the what they call a chayote, which is the Filipino name for sweet potato that's sort of mixed in there. And we had a indeterminate special prize, and they grow about that big. They're not a cherry tomato, but that one's self-sowed, and we've got it. That's just sort of like growing wild, so we're gonna go and pick that. But it's pretty cool. It's good to just getting a bowl of cherry tomatoes, just like the lazy way, right? Sometimes. What are your thoughts on loquat? Um, I've never grown loquat. I'm sorry. I've eaten it plenty of times, but and I quite like it. But I've never grown it, unfortunately. No, sorry. It is Mulgima. DC, I want something new to grow. I did kohlrabi this year, first time, and love them to grow. I've done tomatoes. Yeah, give something else a go. It's always fun to see how you go with it. You never know. You surprise yourself. Never really grew eggplants myself until Shirley wanted some, and then I started growing eggplants. Now I love them. I never used to like them. I got tortured with them as kids because no one knew how to cook them properly. And then my missus comes along, cooks them just beautifully, and I'm like, wow, man, let's get some eggplants in the ground. So yeah, now we've got there's a couple of different varieties about them. So yeah. Uh, Oh, the soil disease from, but I've heard they can give, yeah, look, sometimes when you buy potatoes, you'll see at the bottom of the pack, it'll say not to be planted. So I sort of steer away from those. I go for the ones, I just go and buy the ones from the shop or whatever I can get at time that are meant to be planted, and steer away from that. So I just don't want to take the risk. I don't even buy the basil from the local supermarket anymore because I found it twice now. It's brought disease and killed my other basils. So, and that's just the one that they grow hydroponically or whatever. So yeah, I don't even do that anymore. So you got to be a little bit careful, James. Look, my wife planted some potatoes from the garden from the shop, and but she can get good. They were just tiny little ones, didn't bring any disease in, but they didn't do any good. So yeah, I think that the idea is to buy the right correct seed and go from there. It's about $5 for a bag. You get 10 potatoes, and you know, one potato turns into 10. So you always end up doing much better and have a better quality potato. Derek K. I just planted some eggplants. Hope it makes it. You will do it, my friend. You will do it. Just be aware that sometimes certain eggplants can be a bit slow to get started, especially the round. I'm not really good on the different varieties at the moment. I'm still learning them all. Eggplants, first time I've grown eggplants. We've been successful because we grew it right next to a worm farm, but I found the big round one. Took ages to get going, and I was like, oh, it's not going to do so good. And then all of a sudden it exploded, and lots of there. So maybe you can try a few different varieties as well. I think it's always a good idea to see which variety performs best for you at the same time. And just, like give them a bit of a liquid feed as well, like some liquid nitrogen potash. So a nitrogen potash mix. The potash is really for the flowering and the root development, and you'll get more fruit. If you've got like a worm farm or something like that, you get the juice out of there and put it down there. Lessons learned. Yeah, but that's how we learn, James? It just happens. And we just, if we don't learn, then we don't grow, right? We don't make mistakes, we don't grow. These are the Lebanese eggplants. Okay, so I think the Lebanese, I'm not too sure the round ones. I get mixed up. Like I said, I still need to learn more about the varieties. But we can see my eggplant over down here. Let's have a look. There it is right there. See there? And down there, I don't know if we can see it, but there's a big eggplant right at the bottom there. Massive one. There's a couple more on there. And that's it. Right next to my worm farm. Right there, an underground worm farm. So a nice big one, and they last for a few years. I think they're biannual, so 3 or 4 years out of them. I just cut mine back because it wasn't doing so good. It's getting a bit of a pest attack. Took about 1/3 of the plant away, and gave it a good liquid feed, and boom, she's back, baby. She's back, and I'm sure it'll punch right through the whole summer now. But I'm going to keep cutting it back because I don't want it to get too big. So it's good when you have that problem. Yeah, if they get too big and too productive, you got to cut them back. Banana H. Acclimatized seed is best to try to get seed somewhere closer to home. Very true. That's why I like to save my seed. We've got some things here, a 3rd generation, 4th generation here now at my place, which is really great, especially the tomatoes. The eggplant we'll be doing 2nd generation. So the snake beans are 2nd generation, things like that. So yeah, if you can save your own, such a good cost-saving way to save money and also produce plants that will grow better in your climate over time. So great point there, Banana H. And if you can get local seed, or even, like where I used to get some really good seed from was like the gardening clubs around the place. You go to turn up to one of their shows, their events, and they're all giving out, the oldies are giving out little bags of their seeds. It's just like gold, They've been doing it for 20 years or something. Just brilliant. Just love that. And I haven't been to any locally around here since I moved, but since we moved from the last place, I was speaking at some of these gardening clubs, and they would always give me some bags of seeds, and everyone would give me all this stuff, and it was just brilliant. Bottle of wine and a whole lot of seeds, and a lot of fun doing them. So we're talking here about what are we growing now? When are we growing it? Why are we growing it? And what's in season now? What are you going to be growing? How are you growing it in it? Have you got any questions about what you want to grow? Are you considering growing it but scared about it and not sure what to do? All these things we can cover now while we're into spring and get these questions answered to help you just get rid of the anxiety of growing food and be more successful. Because when we're more successful, we get better results and we want to keep on going. And once we get on a roll and get a rhythm going, you'd be surprised. You really start saving a lot of money, and the value, there's more of a monetary value out of it over time that you get from it. Lisa, here we go. All right, so we're going to go for a few more minutes here. Batteries are getting low now on the computer, and we've been speaking for just over an hour. I don't normally go for much longer than an hour. So if you got your questions, you better get them out now because, yeah, we're going to close off pretty soon. Lisa, question, do you have experience with finger lime plant? If you do, any feedback would be appreciated. Yeah, I've grown them, love them. There's quite a few different varieties. So you really need to sort of do your research on what variety you want to grow. They take longer to get finger limes than expected. I had some at the last place that I was living at. One thing I got annoyed with was, well, getting spiked all the time. So you had to wear gloves going in. They're super spiky, some of them. I think they've got some hybrids now that aren't as spiky. Most of the finger limes that are grown in Australia are sent to Japan because they look a bit like fish eggs. They look a bit like the roe, and they get a ton of money for them, more than they do here in Australia. So you don't see them on the market here. Most of it goes off overseas. But good free draining soil, nice position out of cold winds, and give it a little space. It needs a lot of airflow. Treat it as though you would a citrus in a way, and you'll get pretty good results. But just do your research on what type of finger lime that you want to grow, and whether you're going to. I think they graft them as well. If you want to get the a grafted one, you'll get fruit much quicker. So there we go, Derek K. Okay, I'm just going to do a couple more questions before we head off. Buses are going to start rolling through as well. It's going to get noisy because school's closing, and starting to lose my voice. Derek K. Planted some heirloom tomatoes. Next morning, chopped down by a local cutworm. Now that's annoying, isn't it? Managed to save them by putting the cuttings into a cup of water, waited for roots and replanted. Put aluminium on the base. Yeah, cutworms are something that I've experienced them. I've come across them. I think if you are planting sort of more companion style and have some tomatoes in different spots around the place, if you lose one, you're not too worried about losing. There's another bug on the table. Excuse me. Yeah, you're not too worried. So, we sometimes get, there's the little, the grub that gets in a tomato, and it might be in a plant that's a long way away, a hornworm, and it hasn't got a chance to infest the other ones because it's not near other tomatoes. So, yeah, consider that, and also maybe looking at the different plants that would protect it from hornworm. I think marigolds, the African marigold, might be one of them. You just need to do your research on that, and go for it. Yeah, around the base to keep the worms out. So you've got a fair solution there on that, Derek. All right, look, I'm going to finish up now, guys. We had a pretty good live show, and hopefully I was able to help you. You got some good information out of here. I don't do the live shows very often, but from time to time I would real sporadically come on and do a live show, talk with you guys, and answer some questions and things like that. I'm sorry if you didn't make the live show until later or whatever, but there's lots of content coming out. I'm really pushing forward to get as much as I can, as well as managing what we're doing here in family life and things, to get that out to you, to help as many people as we can right across Australia. Now, remember, if you're not sure about what to grow and when, there's a video that came out this morning, and it's about a chart that you can get off Aussie Gardener. There's a link in there, 10% off any of the stuff that you can buy from Aussie Gardener using my code there, and you can save a bit of money and get one of those charts. They're absolutely brilliant, highly recommended for what you want to grow now and into the season for pre-planning ahead. All right, have a great afternoon or morning or wherever you are around the globe, and I think it's mostly Aussies here today, but we'll see you at the next video real soon, guys. And thanks heaps for dropping in and all your support. I really do appreciate it. Oh, the wind's coming. Bye for now.